So hello everyone, welcome to this another video of this channel. I'm Abhishek Verma and today you're watching another video of a Spring Data JPA series. Now, all the videos of Spring Data JPA series which you have watched so far, there we have made usage of MySQL database. And for this, we have already installed the MySQL database along with the dbeaver in our machine. But what if you just want to test a quick feature and for this you don't want to install the database in your machine? Then how can you do so? So Spring Boot says yes, it is possible. And for doing this, I will provide you some embedded database, which means you neither need the MySQL database nor you need any GUI tools. Now the question is, how is it even possible? So without wasting any more time, let's directly get started and see how the embedded database is possible in Spring Boot.
So now we are in our IDE, and as always I have already created demo number 9 for today by copying the previous demo. But here I haven't copied demo number 8. Instead I have copied demo number 3 this time, because if you remember, demo number 3 is the one in which we did Spring Data JPA with the help of MySQL, and today's operations are almost going to be the same as demo 3. So I thought to copy from there only. So let's have a quick recap. Again, if you wish, you can skip the same. So we will go here and let me show you how it looks like. So we were having a demo class which was containing the main method. From demo class, we were having the service layer, owner service and the pet service. Then we were having their implementation layers also. Then from here we were going to the owner repository and the pet repository. And here we were getting all the methods by default from Spring Data JPA, so we were not creating any method on our own. Besides this, we were having the owner mapper and pet mapper, which are used to do the conversion from entity to DTO and vice versa. Then we were also having the exception classes, so owner not found exception, pet not found exception, as well as we were having the input util, which was containing the basic utility methods. Below, we were having these entity classes, where we were having the owner class and the pet class. Both of them were having one-to-one relationship, which is bidirectional in nature. Under pet, we were having domestic pet and the wild pet, and we were making usage of joined inheritance here. Then for the primary key, we were writing it in the base class and it was annotated with mapped superclass. Besides this, we were having enums for gender and pet type. To the UI, we were not returning entity. Instead, we were returning the DTO classes, and for them, we also made usage of the Lombok annotations to make them simple. So this was the thing. Besides this, if you remember that in order to avail the benefits of Spring Data JPA, the only other thing which was required was to add the dependency of Spring Data JPA, and for the database, we need to go for the dependency of MySQL. So these were the two main things. For Lombok dependency was there, for Mapstruct dependency was there, but currently main focus is of these two dependency. And then in the SRC main resources, we were having application.properties file, where you see that this is a common property. Then these three things. So here we are providing the URL of our database, the username and password of our database. This we are just saying that if there is no table in the database, so create it. If there is a table, then update it. And this is so that whenever we execute any operation, we can see the query in our database. And then if I take you just quickly to this particular util part, so we were having these 6 operations, where in first operation we were trying to add the owner. In second operation, we were fetching the owner details by providing owner ID. Then we were updating the name of the pet by providing owner ID and new name. Then we were deleting the details of owner by providing owner ID. We were fetching all the owners, and we were fetching the pet details by providing the pet ID. So these 6 operations are there. Now why it is important? Because in today's demo also, we are going to exactly copy paste the same thing. So for today, you won't see there is any single change in any of the Java classes. Hence, I'm not even going to open this SRC main Java, because it is, believe me, each and everything is exactly same. The only things which we need to change is the pom.xml and the SRC main resources, that to application.properties file. So first of all, from the pom.xml, if we come, so you see again we are having the Spring Boot starter data JPA dependency. Now this is required whenever you want to work with database in Spring Boot. Now we are also having the MySQL dependency, but as I mentioned you that today we are going to work with the embedded database, so we don't need this particular one, and let's simply remove it. Rest of the other things like Lombok and Mapstruct will remain there as it is. So let's just save it. Now After this, let's go to application.properties file. Now here again you see that this is a basic property. Okay, it has nothing to do with MySQL. Now this one is specific to MySQL because here we are giving the URL of MySQL database. So as of now, let's not remove it, but let's comment this particular one like this. Then next one is the username and password of MySQL. So again, let's comment both of them. So this one also I have commented and this one also I have commented. Later on, if required, we can simply use them instead of rewriting from scratch. Then the next one is auto DDL update. So here we are just saying that, okay, again, like as I mentioned, if table is not there, it will create a table. If table is there, it will update it. In your actual project, you may be using some different option also instead of this update. Yeah. And this is just going to show you the SQL statement in your console. So this is how the things are going to look like as of now. Yeah, these three are commented. From here I have removed the MySQL, only Spring Data JPA is there. Now after doing this, the next step is to execute the demo. So as of now, we have not added any other dependency. So let's simply execute and see what it looks like. So if I execute and it goes here, so let me just drag it up. So you see that what it is trying to tell me. Let me just scroll this one first. So first of all, it says that, okay, I'm trying to start and there is no active profile, so looking for the default. Then it says that, okay, I found 2 JPA repository. So without database, that particular MySQL or any other dependency also, it will be able to find the JPA repository because we are extending the JPA repository, and here also we are having the data JPA dependency. So that is working fine. But after this, it says that application failed to start because that whenever you are making usage of this data JPA dependency, so you need to have something like URL for the database. Yeah, so currently, first of all, that is not specified because we have commented it. Second one is, even if you specify, so you will specify for what? Because as of now, there is no embedded data source to configure. Yeah, and the reason is that it is unable to identify any driver class. How it will identify? We have removed MySQL. So it says that, okay, if you want to go with the embedded database, so this is something which we were looking for. So it says if you want to go for embedded database, you are having three options: H2, HSQL and Derby. So these three options are there. Now what you just need to do is you need to add the dependency in your class path. So when they say put it in your class path, so since it is a Maven project, so we just need to add the dependency of for one of them here. And then what we need to do is we just need to provide some properties in the properties file, something like that. Yeah. So what here we are having is that now we are having three options here: H2, HSQL and Derby, and believe me, all the three are the embedded database. Now in order to add them, what we just need to do is we need to go here in this particular Spring initializer, and here is the one. So for H2 we can simply say H2. Now you see it's a provided fast in-memory database that supports JDBC API with a small 2 MB footprint. So it is very small in nature. So this way we can add H2. Same way, if you wish HSQL, so you just need to do it like this: Hyper SQL database, and this also can be added. Again, this is lightweight. And next one, as they mentioned, it was Derby, so we can do it like this: Derby. So it is Apache Derby database. So these are the three dependencies. I can just go here and you can have a look. So it is going to look something like this. So this is how the Derby dependency will look. This is how, for Derby, you need these two dependencies, Derby as well as Derby tools. For HSQL, you need this. And for this other one, H2, you need this particular one. So now the thing is, out of these three, you can make usage of any one of them. Yeah, it's not mandatory to use all because all these are different databases. So my preference for this is going to be H2 today. Yeah, why is it so? Because I will tell you later on in this video itself, but as of now, let me just copy this H2 dependency. So I will come here into this particular one, and what I'm going to do is, after this data JPA, or like wherever you wish, you just need to add this particular dependency. And let me just select this quickly, and let me say here it should be something like this: source and format. Okay, so I have formatted it. So this is the one, com.h2 database, and h2 is the name. So we have only added this. Now let's again execute. As of now, there is no change in properties file. So let me re-execute this and see how it is going to look like. Now on this time, when I execute, what it says is that, okay, it says there is some SQL error or something like this. The reason is because it says that this particular table, pet table, is not found. Okay, but why do we need to go for it? Because what we are saying is if table is not there, then create the table. So initially table is not going to be there, so it should actually create the table for us. Okay, but it says table is not found. But why is it even looking for the table? Because it says there is some insert statement. And where is this insert statement? So if you remember, what I generally use is I go for this data.sql and database.sql. So in my data.sql, I have all these insert statements and something like this, so that whenever I run for the first time, I can quickly copy paste and I have some pre-default data. Now when we were doing this with the help of MySQL, then it was not providing us any issue. But what happens is that the moment you start using an embedded database, and then it identifies that in your resources folder, there is something like data.sql. So what it will tend to do is it will automatically try to execute this. And there is no harm also in executing, because what it is trying to do is it is trying to by default add the data in your database. But why we are getting the error is because it is even trying to insert these queries without even creating the tables. So first of all, it should create the table and then it should try to add these data here. Yeah. So what we need to tell is that, okay, don't initialize those SQL statements as of now. Yeah. So this is something which we need to tell it, that is spring.sql.init.mode, something like this. And here we need to tell it never, that okay, you don't initialize, I will initialize on my own whenever I need it. And this you just need to do whenever you are working with the embedded database, plus you are having these SQL files. If you are not having, you will never see this kind of issue. Okay, now let's execute it again. So if I do, so there we go. And yeah, now let's see what happens. Let me just simply close this particular one. Okay, now you see it is working fine. It is providing me the options also. Yeah, and it has created all these tables for me. But the point is, where are these tables created? I mean, if you remember, we didn't even provided any URL, username and password. So what is the thing? Where is the URL? So here if you come, it says that it added a connection, something like this, and the default URL. So whenever you are making usage of H2, it is going to have the in-memory database. So hence this word appears as mem. Mem stands for in-memory. H2 means H2 and JDBC is internally it will be using JDBC. So this is going to be the URL of your database and this is going to be the username, and for H2 you don't need any password. So by default password is empty, username is always SA, and this URL is something like this. Yeah. Now if that is the case, so now the next thing is that okay, if this is my URL, but the point is that here this URL is like very big as of now. What I want is, I want in my URL to have like this Pakistan. Okay, because there is one small issue here. You see this is in memory database. So every time when I will execute this, so let me just simply stop it. Currently it was F8A. So just remember these last three letters F8A, and now let's re-execute it. Yeah. So if I re-execute, so this time you see again it has created the tables and everything. Okay, this means that every time it is going to create the table because it is in memory. So it is going to stay till your application is live. The moment you are going to stop your application, it is going to vanish. Yeah, and because of this reason, when you are going with this by default URLs, every time it is going to change the URL. Last time it was F8A. Now you see the ending words are like 120. Yeah, but what I want is every time I want to have a same URL only. So I can make usage of this, but this time I need to copy first of all this particular one. So let me copy it here and let me provide something like this. And when I need to provide my name, so I can give any name. So I wish to go with the name of Pakistan. Okay, so this way you can give your own name. Also, I don't like the username SA. Okay, so for better security purpose, I wish to have my own username and password, and that too I wish to do it like this, that okay, I wish to provide them with the help of these environment variables. So what I will be doing now is that let me just quickly copy this particular one, and first of all let me say, stop this particular this, and let me say open config. So we are here, let's go to this environment, let's say add, and here is the one. So username, let's say root, like we used to do for the MySQL, and for the password let's say h2 underscore, and this is the one, guys, password. And here let's again say root. So here it is not at the rate, this is h2. Okay, it's your choice, whatever this variable name you wish to keep. So this I have done. I'm saying apply and close. So now I'm giving my this particular one schema name. So this will be also used as your schema. So I'm giving my URL, my username, and my password. So that's the reason I didn't deleted these variables from scratch. Okay, so now if we re-execute this particular one, you see again it is working fine. Okay, so one point is very clear. Every time you are going to start, every time it is going to create the tables from scratch. Okay, and the memory is going to stay till your application is running. Afterwards it is going to lost. That's why we say it is only for testing purpose. Okay, so now it says that okay, since you have given, so I will be using this particular URL and username is root. Root, you will say it is capital, we provided small because it is case sensitive, so you don't need to worry. So this is how it is going to look like. Now the next thing is that okay, this is working fine, and now let's go here. Simply let's try to add some data here. Okay, so I will say 1, and let's say for the first name I will say F here, and then last name also I will say F, gender F, city F, state F, mobile number F, email ID F, name F, and let me say W. Then here also I will say F, and here I will say F, and here I will say cat. Okay, so it has added some data to the database. As of now I have not shown you where is that particular database. Okay, so now let me say Y here, and again let's try to say, first of all let's say 5. Okay, to fetch all the owners. So you see this owner has been saved with ID 1. So complete everything has been saved here as it is, and this is working. I can say Y, now I can say 2, I can say ID 1, and this is working fine. Same way I can say Y here, and this option 6 is also going to work, so this is also working fine. I can say Y here. If I wish I can update the data also. I will give some name like this, and now if I again say it as Y and let's say 5, so you see that again it has updated the name for us, something like this. So if you wish you can delete also. Now that means I need to enter the data. Okay, first of all this is fine because we are only doing it for the test purpose. But what is, I want to see it in that particular console also. Like for MySQL we used to look into the dbeaver. Okay, so same way I want to look this one also. Now let's try to understand. Now why first of all we are going for this embedded database. So the thing is I want to test something with the database, but I don't have enough time to first of all install some database in my machine. Okay, so I don't want to install any kind of MySQL server or PostgreSQL server, something like this. Now since if you don't even want to install those servers, so how can you install some GUI tool like those dbeaver or MySQL Workbench or PostgreSQL or something like, I mean pgadmin, something like that. You don't even have time to install that. Okay, so like it is providing me this database in memory. Is it possible that it can provide me console also? Yeah, the answer is yes, it can provide us console also, and that is one of the benefits of H2. H2 is going to provide you the console. The other two, if you remember, HSQL and Derby, they were not providing the console. So that is one of the issues. Yeah, so we will say spring.h2.console, and here you see these options. So we will simply say enabled. So we will say enabled, and let's say true. Yeah, so this way you can enable the console. Now let's re-execute the same. So let me first of all stop it and let me restart. So when I will restart, again the previous data will get lost, and again it is going to start from the scratch. So again this has started, and let's go here. So now you see again this looks exactly same only. Okay, so but the point is that here we are saying that console is enabled. But how can we, I mean, make usage of this console, guys? That's one of the questions. Okay, so in order to make usage of this console, what we need to do is that we need to add one more dependency, guys. Okay, and that dependency is the web dependency. So as of now we are not going in detail of the web or REST API or something like this. We are just going to add the dependency. So for this let's again go here, and let me just close it, and I can remove all of them just for the simplicity. I will go here and I will say here web. So Spring Web, so this I will add, I will go to this explore, and from here I will copy this particular dependency. So this is the one. I will come here, and there I will say this time this web here dependency. Okay, So this web I will say, I will select it and let me say format. Yeah. So it has formatted the same. Now let's see what happens and what is the benefit of doing something like this. Okay, this way you will also get some idea for our web dependency also, because after this next series will be related to web. Okay, now let's see what has actually changed this time. So this time if we come here, you see now first of all it says that since you have added a web dependency, so now it becomes a web application and by default port number is 8080. So this is running on Tomcat. Now you will say, Abhishek, when did you added Tomcat here? The point is Spring Boot is automatically providing you Tomcat the moment you add the web dependency. And by default port number is 8080. As of now it is not our concern how to change the port number and something that we will see in the web playlist, not now. Okay, but now if we come down, it says that now your console is available as H2 console. So this is the URL where your console is available, and see your database is this particular one. Yeah, so all this information is there. So the thing is, whenever it says the console, for this you don't need to make usage of any other application. It will be achievable, it will be, I mean, you can access it with the help of your Chrome browser or any other browser. So let me just copy this and let's go here into this particular place, and I would like to show you something that okay, there is a YouTube channel by the name of Abhishek Verma. So in case if you have not subscribed to this channel, I guess you should subscribe it, because this person is trying to tell you Java tutorials and everything free of cost. Okay, and believe me, these tutorials are great also. So what you can do is you can subscribe to this channel and watch his videos. Yeah, I mean, if you wish you can watch my videos also. Yeah, so let's go here and let's say localhost colon 8080, because it's on my local host, and here I will say this hyphen h2 console. Yeah, so this is how it is going to look like. Now you see we don't need to take help of any kind of dbeaver or any other tool. So this is how it looks like. Automatically it has identified that your JDBC URL is this. Yeah, your username is this. From our application.properties file it has identified. So let's click on test connection without providing password. Let's see what happens. So it says that okay, wrong username or password, because we are not giving the password. Let's say root and let's test it again. So this time it says test is successful. Let's go to this connect. So okay, for this connect we need to again provide here. So let's go to this connect. So this time, and okay, this we don't need to worry. So you can see here, this is how the UI for this looks like. It's a very simple UI, but you don't need to worry. You are doing it only for the testing purpose. And see what you got. You got all the tables here. So you can just double select on this, any of them you can double click, and here you can see how the tables are going to look like. So this is how your domestic pet table is going to look like. You can double click on this particular owner table. Okay, something like this. Let's say select star and then let me say from owner underscore table, this particular one. Again, this is case sensitive, so not much to worry. And this is how your tables are going to look like. Now you will say that okay, Abhishek, these are empty. So no need to worry. What we will do is we will go here, and from here what I can do is I will select this particular data.sql, and here I will execute all of them one by one. So first of all, let's add some data in the pet table. So I will select this particular part. I will quickly go here, and here I can just execute it. I will say Control A and run. So it will add this particular data. Let's remove it. Now let's go back here again, and this next time let's add some data in the domestic pet table. So let me again copy this. Let's go here, let's paste it, let's say Control A, let's say run. So this also is working fine. Let's again go back there, and this time let's enter some data in the wild pet table. So let's say Control C, let's go here, let's say Control V, Control A, and this particular one. So this is also working fine. Let's go back here. So this is the benefit of having these kind of files with you, that you can execute these things quickly, and then you can have all your data in one single go. So let's do this. Let's say run, and now this is also working fine. Yeah, now what we can do is we can come back to our code, and this time we can execute all other options again. So last time you remember I started by adding the owner. This time I'm already having the owner, so I just need to say any other option. Let's say 2. So I will say ID 10, and yeah, see this ID is there. I can say Y, and I can say 5, and you see all these 72 owners are available to me. So what we learned today is, I mean, the goal was first of all not to learn all these operations and something like this that you have already seen in the previous video. The goal was first of all to see that how we can have something like embedded database. So that was primary goal. The secondary goal was that how you can access the console of that embedded database without installing any other software. So you just need a Chrome browser and this particular dependency, and things are going to work fine. Now you see, providing this username was optional, providing password was optional, even providing the URL was optional. Okay, you don't even need to provide this, it will give you something by default. Okay, this line, this particular one, init mode, this also I added because I was having this data.sql and something like this, otherwise you don't need. And you just need to add this particular one. So this is the only requirement here, guys, and this way you can get your embedded database. Instead of H2, if you would have went for like HSQL or Derby, then also you would have been able to do something like this. The only difference is those don't provide you something like console. Okay, so there if you want to see that how the database or something looks like, then you need to take help of your dbeaver, mysql workbench or pgadmin. But our main goal was that okay, we don't want to install any other software, so then how we can make usage of these things. Yeah, now one more point before we close this particular video to remember is that this should be used only for the testing purpose. I mean, as you know that every time whenever you are going to start, it is going to start from the scratch. The moment you are going to close your application, it is going to close down your complete thing. Okay, so it can't be used for the production purpose, it is only and only for the testing purpose. Like this, when you are waiting for someone to install MySQL in your machine and in meantime you want to work with the code, so then you can always go for this H2 database. So I hope you find it helpful. If yes, then do like the video, share it with your friends, comment something, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.